Okay, this poem is called Kindness, and it's by Danusha Lamaris. Small kindnesses. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull in their legs and to let you by, or how strangers say, bless you, when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague, saying, don't die. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down that bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire, only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make when we come together and say, here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat. So now just close your eyes, look out the window, go to middle distance. This is 90 seconds for you. So welcome, and it would be lovely. Some of you are new here. I see familiar faces who are not new to me, but who are new to this space. So feel free to give a wave, drop in the chat box, or if just an emoji. Is this your first time here with us at the SOF pod? The pods they happen once a month. They are for people who are facilitators, trainers, coaches, even the consultants amongst us. And it's a space for you to come and be. And today's theme is nurture. And the themes are based around the Celtic calendar and what is probably happening for many of us, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, in nature. I utterly respect this gets flipped for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere. And for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we're really starting to notice that we're emerging from those long dark nights. Those evenings are slowly creeping in with daylight, which is wonderful, as are the mornings. And maybe you're hearing your birds cheeping as you're waking up now, depending what time you wake up, obviously. But I don't know about you, but I have sort of started to notice that it's, well, for me anyway, there's quite a heavy energy still floating around. And I think that's in the collective. I think that's just what is happening in the wider world, whether you are looking at what's happening in the Ukraine and Russia, what's happening for our Australian friends with their floods and what they're having to deal with. Yeah, and I'm just reminded at this time, I think many of us, because of what we do, are in this helping space. We want to help, we want to do something, we want to seem to be helping. That's probably why many of you are coaches, facilitators and trainers, if you really delve into why you do what you do. And yet it can feel really like, well, what can I do at this time? And I've been doing some reading, and one of the things that keeps coming up is start with yourself. That's all you can do, is look at what are you doing, go inwards, not even like what are you doing outwardly. Like, how are you showing up? What are you choosing to look at? What are you choosing to focus on? But then there's also an energy where you get caught into the I'm not enough. I can't possibly do everything that I need to do. And we set ourselves unrealistic expectations. And knowing many of you on this screen as I do, I know many of you here, we put bloody high expectations on ourselves. We've lived in high performing teams, we work for high performing businesses, and therefore we set ourselves those spaces. And I don't know, I think, guys, we need to just give ourselves a bit of a mental break on that one, and have a look at what is our imagined self and what is our realistic self, and where can you play in that dance along that axis of illusion and perfectionism. So yeah, how can you start flipping it to a bit of self-compassion? So that's the word of the month as well, it's nurture. So how are you creating and nurturing yourself? And what I thought was really interesting is Patrick, who is my guest today, he and I connected back in November to have Patrick as the guest here today. And Patrick's thing is all about kindness and goodness. And I was just saying to Patrick, not that we'd ever want to predict, but we couldn't have predicted that this is probably absolutely the right conversation, the right topic to be discussing today in light of what is happening in the wider world. So I'd like to welcome Patrick. I stuck him on mute because he kept singing. That was lovely singing, Patrick, but it was the warbling of Imagine. Patrick, hello. Hey, welcome to SOF. As with most of my newfound friends in life, I met Patrick through another acquaintance, Dr. Miriam Hadness of the Never Done Before community, and Patrick and I just got on and bonded. So Patrick, do you want to share what it is you do and how do you describe what it is? Because I think you're going to do it better justice than me.
Thank you, Kirsty. Hello, all you lovelies out there. So I'm very happy to be here. And, I think it's less about what I do, but more about an idea, an idea that we could have more goodness in the world, in more places, for more people. And that would probably be a good thing. And then to dedicate 15 years of your life to find a way to repeat that and scale that, make it a tiny little process. I'm an engineer. So build a machine, a human goodness machine that you could put into place in millions of places at once. Maybe billions of places at once. If that were even possible, to at least try. That would be worthwhile to try to find a way to do that. And that's been my calling since I woke up one day and heard this voice that told me, Patrick, you have to figure it out.
Interesting.
And I was excited until later. I said, "Oh, wait a minute. What am I supposed to figure out?" I forgot to ask. So
sometimes we don't ask. And what were you, just to help people, give them context? You said you're an engineer. What were you doing all that time ago before you came into this space?
Well, I spent 42 years of my life destroying the planet. Okay. And then I decided I would spend the next 42 years of my life fixing that, So my wife, she always tells me, oh, she's from Vietnam. She's Buddhist, right? So she goes, oh, you must have been a really bad person in your prior life. I go, what do you mean? She goes, you're trying so hard to be good in this life. And I said, honey, no. I was a really bad person before we met 42 years. And I'm trying to fix that now in this life. Right. So, I grew up in the military. My dad was in the military. His grandchildren say, Opa.
Mm-hmm.
We know you were in Vietnam twice. They all speak Vietnamese.
Wow.
And you were not there on vacation. Right. So military, growing up in the military, and then becoming an extreme capitalist, kid in the IT tech industry, and
Mhm.
wanted to make that million before I'm 30, which I did at 29, but it was gone when I was 30. My first ex-wife still sends me thank you notes for that. So lovely, so
Yeah.
um, but I'm glad I came to that moment, and then with lots of friends around the world in a lot of different countries and a lot of different communities, to ask the question, is there a way? Is it, what is the source of goodness?
Yeah.
And is there a way to make it stronger in 3 minutes or less? I know it can go in an instant. I was fortunate, very fortunate. I never thought it was possible, but I had that moment where I deeply, instantaneously fell in love. And luckily, I don't know, there's like a golden rule: when it happens to you, it happens to the other one too, right? So kind of nice that both my current wife, I had too many wives, but yeah, she's been good to me, right? So I'm
Okay,
going to give
that's
that
good.
give that goodness back, and it's been a lovely journey of ups, many downs. No one was listening to this 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. They started listening about a year before the pandemic, and after the pandemic, oh, they are so much
They're
listening.
listening.
Really.
And because you talk about how do you activate goodness in as many human beings as possible, and creating. When we were talking about how do you create a goodness bomb, and I love that phrase. How do you create a goodness bomb? And I asked you, and I think this is obvious, but I said to you, what's the benefit of humans and businesses looking into and creating goodness and kindness?
Well, we're just so much better
Yes.
when we're in goodness, especially collectively. It's not about just the individual goodness. Our work has exclusively been on group, collective goodness, and the power that's generated, the energy, the hope, the optimism,
Yeah.
the confidence to stand up, to say what needs to be said, to do what needs to be done. And I grew up in those teams. Military teams need that. They need that quality.
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of years working with first responders and police teams and world champion teams and stuff like that. And there's a common denominator. They all share that goodness. They care for each other so much. You don't want to know, right? We all care for each other so much. You don't want to know. But they embed that in their business or in their sport or in their life, and it's just they breathe it. And because they breathe it, they're always there for each other. And knowing that, just knowing that makes you stronger. Just
Yeah.
knowing that one other person in this planet is just there for you already makes you stronger. And what if that could happen in every encounter? What if that could
Yeah.
happen every single time you're with another human being? That would be pretty cool.
And especially we probably go, well, you create that connection of goodness and kindness probably more easily with those that but how do you do it with a stranger? Like, how do you do it when you meet someone for the very first time? And how can that happen? Because some of the other things you said to me, which really made a difference, is like, people feel safe when they know there's kindness and goodness around them, and therefore they can perform better. They transform as well. And I was thinking, as facilitators and trainers, like, we cross paths with people all the time in terms of we want to create those spaces where people feel safe. And I think by intent, we all come from a space of goodness and kindness. But you took on a bit of a mission to work out how. How is this created? Because I bet if we ask the group now, how do you create that connection of goodness or kindness? What kind of answers we would hear? I don't know. Actually, it's good to. This group will always talk. So, anyone want to share how they create goodness or kindness? Or write it in the chat box, definitely. What are you noticing?
Hello.
Hey, that's Jason.
Yeah, I
Hello.
thought I'd jump ahead of the queue. I think part of it is just to be yourself and banding around that authentic self. Just trust your own self to be the way that you like to be treated yourself. There's a great saying by my grandfather. He used to say, treat people how you like to be treated yourself. And it's just so very true. And it's stood me extremely well throughout all of these years.
Nice, thank you. Anyone else? role modeling, presence and compassion coming up, an attitude of playfulness and acceptance, meeting people where they are at. Yeah. A genuine interest without judgment. Nice. Hey, Ronka, how are you?
Hey, really good, thanks. Something just as simple as a smile really can be transformative for a stranger, for people you know. So
absolutely. And just thinking back to that poem about small kindnesses, just picking up someone's lemons or moving your feet out the way so someone can take a seat. Yeah. Thank you. So Patrick, what have you discovered about creating connections?
Well, you know, all those things. So if you ask 7 billion people for 5 years, those questions, you get a lot of stuff, you know, but you get a lot of common stuff. Also the golden rule thingy, you know, when we live it, it's there. If we don't, it's not.
Yeah, so it's conscious.
Yeah. So what we figured out together with some scientists at the University of Zurich, they wrote a book about it, is that there's a protocol, an interaction protocol. See, kindness happens when we interact. and so we've found a protocol where we can insert 6 acts of kindness between 2 people in 2 directions in 180 seconds. And after that, if you go in that space, you know, it's just your heart starts to beat and warm up and stuff. It's really nice. My daughter once, she did it at school because I told one of her teachers about it. And she said, Dad, teacher did it today. You know, now they didn't quite do it like we do it at home, and they didn't apply the rules. I had 3 boys in my group, she said. She was 12 at the time. And she was dead. You know, when all that appreciative feedback and stuff came, it got warm around my heart.
Nice.
And that's never happened to me at school, Dad. I said, Miley, that's cool. Just don't fall in love with the boys, okay? It's okay. They were good to you. And they're not, at that age, the boys are not being so good to girls yet, as you know. So, yeah, I mean, so the protocol combines wisdom and learnings, at least 10 things from the East, Eastern philosophies, 10 things from the West. You roll it all into a single protocol. And then I call it it's kind of a machine, but it's a good machine because it puts us, allows us to go where we want to go, be who we want to be, and be cared for, you know, really. So thank you.
So how are we going to do this? Because people are going, what, 180 seconds? How does this work? And like sort of a bit of an how do we want to do this experiment and this bit of play?
Well, you know, 10 years ago when we started applying, it was 2 days offsite, you know, and you had to do two days offsite because you needed the overnight so things would work on people and they'd wake up in that other space and stuff. And we got that down to 2 hours before the pandemic. Yeah. And our customers loved that. They say, we don't have to go offsite, 2 hours on site. We can do that on the factory floor. We can do that in a lot of places in the world. Yeah. And now we got it down to 22 minutes on Zoom, right? So the thought was, what if we invite you all to these, you know, it's about 3 minutes per step, but there's 7 steps because they fit together. You have to, it's important to kind of, you guys know, you're facilitators, so you got to open the space in the right way, and then you got to kind of get there and you go somewhere. So I would suggest that, you know, we invite you guys for 25 minutes together, and we go through these steps, and you just flow, and just don't be facilitators, you know, just be, this is caring for you. This is going to, this is good, especially, you know, for those of us that are, you know, I'm just a 5-hour drive from the border of Ukraine, you know?
Yeah.
And, so anyway, I think this could be the best way, and we'd still have, you know, a handful or 2 handfuls of minutes when we get back to kind of share with each other.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you manage this so I can participate and join in.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Are you guys, now from this point on, what you can do is everyone can open their mics, even if, you know, my kid sometimes runs in here and says, Dad, I have to go pee. It's okay, you know. So you can open your mics because we're going to get into this interaction space, and the way the group dynamics work is we can all be with each other, and all the noises are okay, right? And so when we start, First of all, you guys ready to go? Just give me some nods or some. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the way the protocols work is I'm going to do all the tech. I'm going to probably participate, and I'm going to talk you through the steps here. And the first step that you have whenever you come together with friends, of course. What's the first thing you do when you enter a room when there's a lot of friends? What's the first thing you're going to do?
Smile.
Hi.
Yeah. You get into that kind of hello space, right? It's called the greeting, and greetings, especially the hand up greeting. There's a lot of import about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up rooms of 6 and let you guys jump in there to say hi. Okay. And the protocol is smile. Thank you, Ronki. So smile, right? Say hi and pass it on, but you only got 1 minute and 60 seconds close time. So it's only 2 minutes. Make sure you keep an eye on the time, but it's about that greeting combined with a smile and passing it on, which means you have to see the name. You must acknowledge them, give to them, and they'll probably say thank you for passing it to them, stuff like that. So it's a very minuscule beginning. And are you guys okay for that start? Yeah. Okay. So I'll jump you in there. Smile. If you got like a little positive tidbit you want to throw in there, throw it in there, and keep an eye on the time. Yeah. Okay. See you in 1 + 60, and be good to each other. Bye. Welcome back, everybody, and please say thank you to your team.
Thank you.
And again, when you come back, yeah, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Was that okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And see how the smile kind of gets you. And I forgot to mention, when that message comes, don't hit the okay button because it brings you back to the main room. Okay. Are you guys ready for the next step?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so after, you've run across the room, jumped up and hugged and kissed your friends and stuff, what's the first question you're probably going to ask each other? The most asked question ever in the history of humanity. Tell me.
How are you?
How are you?
Dang, you guys are smart, right? Come on. Why did no one write a book on that yet? The most asked question in the last 100,000 years, like, I come in peace and how are you? And so what I'm going to do is, usually you're going to turn to the person next to you, because you can't do the how are you to a group, right? So you'll turn to the person next to you. So I'm going to build rooms of 2, and I'm going to add a minute and do the tech and everything at the same time here. So I'm going to add a minute, which is going to be 2 minutes with 60 seconds of time to close. And I'm going to explain the protocol, because it's a little bit different, right? Now, when you don't know who's coming yet, could be your best friend out of this group, or it could be someone you don't like at all, right? Especially. But what you do is just smile anyway, right? Smile and say hello, right? Because that's the first thing you're going to do. You enter the room, you're like, smile, hello, and then someone's going to say, what the hell are we supposed to do in here? Yeah, people usually get confused, right? No, so all you're going to do is look over at brother or sister and say, hey, look over at Monica. Hey, Monica, how are you? Really? We're going to add a word, okay? Monica, how are you? Really? And if Monica gives you, I'm totally super, and then you go, really? And then she might go there. So it's how are you really? And the protocol is listen to appreciate. So when Monica finishes, Monica, please just say thank you when you're done. Don't say and you, because in California, it's hi, how are you? Fine, and you. It's one word. Like, hello? No, this is not where we're going today. Today we're going to go in the how are you really place. Okay, how are you really? And I'm going to listen to appreciate. And I just need a signal from Monica when she's done, so that don't interrupt her. It's like, I'm done. Okay, now I can say, wow. Usually when you start with a wow, it's kind of cool. You go, wow. And then you got to figure out what the hell was the wow. What wowed me, and then when you're done, she'll probably say thank you, because you just appreciated her. Or she might say, hey, man, you got to work on your appreciative feedback because you're not so good. And then she'll ask you the same question, how are you really? And then she'll listen. and then she'll appreciate, you know, and then you'll say, wow, thank you. Wow. And then so you might even say, wow, hell, my partner has been good to me like that in the last 2 months. So can you teach them something? I don't know, right? But it's the how are you really? And I'll do the protocol once. This time we're going to do it a couple times. You guys okay for that?
Yes.
Okay. And remember that timer is going to go so fast. So if your partner needs more time to go into that place, what are you going to do?
Let them go.
Let them.
Yeah, you're going to give it to them, right? So go into that space. Let me recreate. Now, as we create these rooms, just so that you know, if by chance the Zoom God keeps putting you together with the same person, it's just a little hint that you should work on the relationship with each other, right? That's all. You know, it's just the Zoom God knows stuff like this, right? So you're in there in pairs, 2 minutes plus 60. Hey, brother, smile. How are you really? Listen to appreciate. See you in a little bit. Ready to jump?
Here we
Oh.
go.
Yeah.
See you all later.
Hey, Joanna. Oh, you hit the good. Joe might come out too. I can't get you back into the room. Here she comes. You guys can finish. You've got 39 seconds.
Hello,
I'm
Joe.
so sorry, Joe.
Okay.
I didn't even click the button consciously. I just moved the mouse.
Don't worry. So where are you off to visit your parents?
Cheltenham, which is lovely.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So we missed about 50 seconds, I think. I mean,
Don't worry. We
it's
ended up
amazing what
laughing.
you can fit in 2 minutes, isn't it?
Very
Actually.
much so.
Mm. Yeah, it is.
Hello, Evelyn. How are you?
Back, everybody. Please, first thing is say thank you to your new best friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Emma.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Misha.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Deborah.
Mark.
And was that okay for you guys?
It was.
Yes. And remember, when it feels like the time's too short, it's only because you love each other so much, right? Because if you're with somebody that you can't stand, 3 minutes is a damn long time. Right? So are you guys ready for another step?
Yeah.
Bring it.
So bring it, right? So we're going to do it again. We're going to mix up the rooms, stay in groups of 2, because there's a very beautiful second question after the how are you? really, I think it's the best in the world, right? So after the hi, how are you, really? The next question is going to be, what do you need, really? Best thing you can ask a friend is how they are and what they need. Yeah. And what do you need, really? And then listen to appreciate. You got the protocol down now, right? I don't need to explain it. There it is. Listen to appreciate. If they go, and you say, well, honey, I'm giving you love first before I go, right? So, and in the poem, I had that too, when they say honey or darling to you in the restaurant there. That's kind of sweet. So you guys ready to go for that one? Yeah. How are you? Was the first one. And the second one is, what do you need, honey? Really? Okay, then 2 minutes plus 60. Let me just check the tech. Yeah, that's good.
I've just looked at the rooms. We've got one person on their own, so I'll jump into that room, I think.
Yeah, I've got, it looks like everybody should be one-on-one now. I moved one person over. So, and be good to each other. Have fun. Ready to jump?
Yeah.
Okay, see ya. So Kirsty. Sorry. Nope. Welcome. Welcome back, everybody. And again, unmute yourself and please say thank you to your friend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Boo.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And was that okay for you?
Very okay.
Very okay.
Yeah.
And are you ready for another step?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Texas, sometimes they say, hell yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do now is go into rooms of 3 and 4 and give you the opportunity to reflect on those 2 steps. Yeah. Because it was special. It may have been very strong or powerful for you, whatever, you know, you get a chance in room of 3 or 4 to let everyone briefly reflect on the question, how was that? Very simple question. After an experience, you go, how was that? And you're going to smile and say hello first because you don't know who the other three are. In Germany, they have the show Charlie's Angels, so if you're lucky, you got three angels in the room, and everything's going to be fine, right? And each voice share what you noticed, how you feel, and whatever you'd like to share with the others. Let everyone speak first before you guys have a discussion. Bite your tongue if you got something you want to say. You can always acknowledge each other. If Matt says something really cool, then Monica says, "Wow, Matt, that was cool," right? And then just keep going. Pass it on to the next person. And I'm going to add a minute, so it'll be 3 minutes plus 60. So you got about a minute each. Are those instructions okay for you guys? Yeah, just reflect, let everybody speak. 3 minutes plus 60. Keep an eye on the clock that everybody makes it through. Okay. And how was that? And if you want to add a really, you can go really. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Here we go. Welcome back. Please say thank you to your wonderful friends.
Thank you,
Thanks,
friends.
guys.
Thanks, Misha, Kirsty.
You wonderful
Thank
friends.
you.
Tisana.
Thank you.
And was that okay?
It was very, very okay.
Yeah. It's kind of
Wanted
amazing.
more time.
Yeah, amazing when someone says something that didn't happen in your room that you can empathize and learn like immediately. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
that's so cool. And you guys ready for the next step?
Okey-doke.
Yeah, we've got our final one-on-one together. And the question is clear, right? Because now the question is, how are you now? Really? You know, how are you now, really? It's the last one-to-one. We'll still have a little gratitude circle after that. But let me fix the tech here a little bit. There we go. And there it is. Yep, I hit the wrong button.
Up with Zoom all over again, aren't we? This would be so different in person to how it is on Zoom.
Yeah, you can just turn. You can turn to people a lot easier in real space. And now the funny thing is, this protocol is identical in physical space, in digital space, and in hybrid space. It's really nice that we always use the same.
Take
the same
longer in
thing.
person, I imagine.
Well,
Sorted.
Boundaries.
it's yeah. We'll talk about that after we come out of here. But there it is. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, got it. So we got the time. I got it set up correctly. There it is. You got 2 minutes plus 60. How are you now? Really, brother, sister. And remember, don't forget to smile and hello at the front. You don't know who's coming. It could be your oldest friend or your direst not friend. I don't know, right? So be good to each other either way, right? So be good to each other. I'll see you in 2 plus 60. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
8 times 6. Ooh.
I hit the wrong button.
I know. Maybe Ronka will come. Maybe she'll come.
No.
Oh no.
Talking.
Oh, here she comes. Go for it. You got 40 seconds.
I hit the wrong button. What I was saying was that from 5 to 10 till now, I've just gone woo 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 because I am an emotional bundle. I'm crying and I'm laughing at the same time. It's just a full body experience.
I'm so glad I found yours. And she's gone. Sure.
Yeah. And I just think I like you, very, very grateful that this happened today and that Patrick has done what he's done, because I think like all of us, we just had a lot going on inside. We just needed to let out. And so I've cried, I've laughed, I've done the whole spectrum.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you, Monica. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick.
Welcome back. That still worked out. Tech is crazy sometimes. So first of all, say thank you to your bestest friend.
Thank you, Jason.
Bye.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And was that good for you?
If you could give me 1 minute back. I could.
Yeah, you're allowed to exchange your phone numbers and fall in love and have children, whatever. It's okay. You're allowed. Yeah. And are you ready for the finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. There you go.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's it. I love it. So it's going to be 1 minute plus 60 in groups of 5 and 6, just to share gratitude. Okay, and keep an eye on the clock. Make sure everybody can get in. Don't hit that funky button that gets you back to me.
No, guilty for doing that.
So just share a circle of gratitude. Of course, a smile, hello at the front, and just share gratitude. Pass it on to the next person, and just breathe your joy of gratefulness. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, then have fun and see you just in a bit. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sorry, Patrick, I have to drop out. So big thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Welcome. You may unmute yourselves, open up your microphones, and just be joyful with each other briefly. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Fab meeting everybody and speaking.
Okay.
Thank
so
you,
that's,
Patrick.
Everyone.
that's 15 years of hard work
Yeah.
to figure that out. But imagine this, you click a button and it's just two of you. You share a greeting briefly. You ask, how are you really? Listen to appreciate each other. Then you ask what you need really to your best friend and appreciate each other. And then you share how that was with one another before asking, how are you now? Really, before you depart, and you depart in gratitude each time. Imagine if all our conversations could be this way, regardless of what we do thereafter, especially if the daunting task before us seems impossible to achieve. It would be more possible after these 15 minutes on an app. So we're working on it. Thank you so much. I'll give back to Kirsty for the last 4 minutes. Thank you, Kirsty.
Thank you, Patrick. You are love.
I'm going to keep Patrick on the screen just to say a massive thank you for leading us through that experience and talking with everybody, hearing people say, oh, that was more intense than I was expecting, or people vibrating at many different levels right now, transiting many different journeys. And yet, and as someone said in our room, you know, I was really nervous about putting in a room with someone and not knowing who shows up. Yet I do this all the time with my own community, my own learners. It's just a good learning, isn't it? Lovely people. It's so good to see so many of you here today. So can we just give Patrick a massive, massive thank you?
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patrick, thank you.
Patrick keeps
Hey,
himself
little one.
off- Patrick keeps himself totally off social media as well, so you can't go and find him and follow him, I'm afraid. So you can find his website, and I don't know if there's a newsletter or if there's ways that people can connect with you there. No, he just keeps himself to himself.
Call me. My phone number is on my website.
And what's your website, Patrick?
You can see it in my background, better-together.today. Better-together.today. And my phone number's on there, my email's on there. And I only want, I just want a phone call with people. No, we don't call each other anymore nowadays. So lovely. And never hesitate. I'm up for anything and everything. Okay?
Quite literally.
I only have 2 hours of work a week. So I don't do any marketing or sales. But I have customers that love the hell out of this.
A couple of notices. If you were unable to join the last pod, we were with Phil, who's also in the room, and we were talking about how to create hybrid workshops and meetings. That is now up on YouTube, so you can go and find it on YouTube. If you just put School of Facilitation, we've got a channel. If you want to know more about how do you create really great hybrid workshops and your clients and customers are asking for it, I say we, the royal we. Phil is hosting a class next Thursday on the 10th, and the link is there in the chat box. There are still spaces available, and we're running it again in June. I'm going to hang out now in the kitchen, as I say, for the after party for 15 minutes. So if you do want to hang around, ask questions, just have a chat, I am here. Otherwise, go well. The next conversation is on the 4th of April, and we're talking all things ethical and sustainable businesses with Daniela Thompson. And yes, B Corp is part of that conversation, but it is more than that. So if you can join us for that, that would be great. Otherwise, see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
So,
Bye. Bye.